around noon, and it has not stopped, causing roads and highways to be buried under inches of snow. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Thuman, and tonight we are tracking two storm systems. Right now, we're seeing the impacts from tonight's snowstorm. The other will impact our area just hours after this snow stops. Chief Meteorologist Veronica Johnson joining me now to help you get through this first storm and tonight, then prepare for the second, VJ.
Exactly, but at least that second will bring us more rain than snow. You're looking at the winter alert, folks. It's going to be wrapping up tomorrow at 9 a.m. That's when our temperatures will get above freezing. But most of this heavy snow, that is going to be prior to 2 o'clock in the morning. Again, hazardous driving throughout the night and early morning hours. And that's what we've seen with a lot of video and images. Your latest radar on the screen. This is the last 3 hours. And the trend the same with the lighter snowfall. Up to the north around Montgomery County, Frederick County, Loudoun too. The heavier snow, that's the dark blue from D.C. south. That includes areas from Warrenton to Stafford to Fredericksburg to Waldorf and Leonardtown. And in fact, that's exactly where we've seen some of the highest snowfall amounts with the lighter snowfall amounts up to the north. Now, I mentioned it's not the only storm. We're going to get a break. You're seeing that break just southwest of Roanoke. They've had the freezing rain. And then another storm will be sweeping in for the afternoon hours tomorrow. Broken Hill, Virginia, 7.5 inches in Fauquier County, 5 for Springfield, Virginia, 5 for Lesby, Maryland, and Manassas, Virginia, and 4 inches for Tacoma Park. And look at more of these snowfall totals across the area. 6.5 there for portions around Stafford, just southwest of there, and 5 inches in Bethesda. So our area map for this snowstorm showing again the higher snowfall amounts just south of I-66 and down through southern Maryland. Our winter alert for tonight, tomorrow morning. But tomorrow afternoon, here comes the next storm, bringing a brief period of sleet, maybe mixed with rain at times, and then switching over to all rain showers as we get into tomorrow night. So temperatures are in fact going to be climbing for the afternoon and climbing for the night. But again, at the onset of this system, around 3, 4 o'clock tomorrow, there could be a little bit of sleet. That's the preset with the beat. We'll talk more about that and take a look at your future radar next.
All right, VJ, and on the flip side, take a look at this beautiful drone video from Montgomery County. This neighborhood in Olney looks like serene, scenic, all the words, but that's from above, a little different on the ground. Houses, yards, cars, all covered with snow, and as of right now, the Montgomery County area has seen a handful of inches of snow, and those flurries just continue to fall. Farther south, a Prince George's County community is watching that snow and watching the snow plow operators very closely. That's because the Hillcrest Heights community waited several days before seeing a county truck during last month's storms, and now they're hoping for a much quicker response for this one. 7 News' Christian Flores is live in the neighborhood right now. And Christian, have neighbors seen any improvements?
Well, it looks like the county got the message. We have seen some snow plows coming through this neighborhood throughout the evening. It may be difficult to tell just because of how relentless this snow has been. It just continues to fall, but we have seen plows move through here. Now, it's going to be important for those plows to continue coming over the next day or so because it's just, again, all the hills in this community make it really difficult to drive. In fact, one neighbor told me that this particular hill, she calls it Killer Hill because of how dangerous it is during when there's no snow outside. And that's just because of how fast cars are coming down here. Now, when you have the snow added, you have the speeding, you have the slipping and sliding of cars. In fact, it's even difficult just to walk up and down this hill because of the slope and because it's just tough to gain any sort of traction walking up and down this hill. Now, again, neighbors tell me they're going to be closely watching to see whether or not plows continue coming over the next day or so just because of how dangerous this all is, and they really don't want to see a crash right at their front doorstep.
And then I just keep dropping layers of salt down.
As snow blankets Prince George's County, residents in Hillcrest Heights are finding the community to be appropriately named.
When they say hills, it's hills. And it's sad. You know, a lot of people get the cars tore up right there.
The winter weather makes their streets nearly impossible to drive on.
As soon as you cross over from the D.C. Branch Avenue side to the Maryland side, your car begins to fishtail a little bit, slide.
Last month, it took several days for plows to clear the streets.
So I couldn't drive to work. The streets was the same as they look now, unclear.
If you don't know this hill, your car is going to get damaged.
The county's Department of Public Works and Transportation is now deploying more than 500 workers to clear roads. So what have some of the lessons been learned from last month that you're applying to this month to make sure that, all neighborhoods are able to get their streets treated?
Around the afternoon time into the evening was when we started to see the snowfall. But we came in much earlier because we wanted to treat those primary roadways and secondary streets to get to the residential areas.
We seen a snowplow smaller truck come through and went over that way.
All right, Christian, you've been in that area quite a bit over the past few days and, of course, last month as well. How are conditions right now?
Well, they're not ideal. I mean, we did mention that there have been snow plows that we've seen coming through this neighborhood, and it may not look like it, but again, the snow has been very relentless, but you can tell the difference where the snow plows have been versus where they haven't. Here, you still see a little bit of snow, but when you get over to the sides of the streets where cars are parked, you see just how much deeper it is where the snow is versus the center of the road that was plowed by these crews from Prince George's County. Now, one thing to pay attention to, and again, a reason that neighbors out here are going to be paying close attention over the next few days, not just tonight, is because underneath that snow, it could obviously freeze over if it melts, if it turns to slush, and the cold temperatures continue. So that's why you're going to have neighbors really watching closely to make sure crews continue making their way over here in order to see not a repeat of what we saw a month ago or a few weeks ago, where snow and ice just completely caked all of the roads out here for several days.
Christian Flores live. Christian, thank you. I'm John Rogers here at the alert desk and looking at the traffic map. Even at this late hour, still seeing a lot of color on the map here across the DMV. It's just a sign of how difficult these driving conditions are. Most of these are because of slowdowns, but also some accidents too. So at about 9 p.m. across the Commonwealth, there were reported 700 crashes and 70 injuries. Taking a live look at Virginia, I've been just peeking at the cameras here. This is, where are we? I-495 over near Springfield. You can see a lot of slowdowns right there on the interstate. Let's go move over now over to Maryland, where we did hear that from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. state troopers responded to 152 crashes. Looking over the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, let me go switch over to this camera here. You can see right there just how these vehicles, especially these large semi-trucks, are going very slowly and cautiously along the bridge. That's what's leading to a lot of the color that we saw on the map just a moment ago. You can track snow plows in real time. Look at this. These are the snow plows just across northern Virginia right now as we speak. They're going to be very busy. And then looking over in Maryland, they're pretty busy too across the whole state. 548 plow trucks right now trying to clean up those roads to keep you safe. So it's going to be a very long night, folks.
John, thank you. Virginia's state police say there have been 700 accidents statewide tonight. So the big warning, obviously, stay home and do not drive if you don't need to. Our team coverage continuing now with Liana Golden live in the first alert weather storm tracker. Liana, you're on I-95 south, from what I understand. How are conditions at this hour?
Yeah, Scott, heading south on 95. Conditions are really not great. Going to go ahead and give you a look out of our first alert weather storm tracker. So look at all that snow that's in front of us, right in our lane. But then to our left, that is not the shoulder. That is another lane. It's just not plowed. So the lanes are kind of a free-for-all right now. We just got sprayed with some snow from a truck coming way too fast next to us. So the lanes are the biggest issue. People are kind of swerving between them, which is really quite frightening, I will say. I mean, people are just kind of trying to stay within their lanes, but with the lack of plowing, even on the interstate, I mean, we're seeing trucks coming and going. I know they got a lot of area to cover, but people are really trying to just take it slow, because when these cars speed past you, I mean, the snow hits your windows, it hits your windshield, and it really is quite scary. I mean, we even caught up with one driver earlier back in Arlington in the Roslyn area who got stuck trying to go uphill. Take a listen.
I have a front wheel car, so yeah, it's not going up. It's just the tires that keep rotating. They're stuck. We're gonna bag it out to try to hit Wilson Boulevard so we can go up that hill and try to make our way down.
and fortunately we did see them finally get out of that spot. They were able to turn around. It took a couple more minutes. Eventually they did make it, and they're not the only ones. We've seen a lot of people getting stuck right now. Scott.
Yeah, Liana, you've been traveling all around Northern Virginia tonight. How about plows? Have you seen a lot of them out there?
Yeah, we are. Believe it or not, every couple of minutes you will see them. We were up in the Fair Oaks area earlier, and we saw them coming through. So they are coming in steady, kind of different amounts over, kind of split up, but we could definitely be seeing more. I mean, right now we've been on the interstate for at least 20, 25 minutes, haven't seen too many. We're definitely keeping our eyes open for them because obviously as the snow continues to come down, those plows will be vitally important, making sure these roads are getting clear. Guys, we'll check back in a little bit.
All right, great information there. Thank you, Liana. And of course, stay ahead of the weather and track Tuesday's precipitation in real time. You can just download that free First Alert Weather app. You'll get notifications if watches or advisories are posted, and you can read the very latest blog and get the updated forecasts on demand. Snow